Fifth Hour Radio Show.
Gabby, let's break the ice by getting a little history lesson about your beginnings. As far as sports is concerned, and I guess to be more specific, volleyball, what got you interested in playing that game as opposed to other athletics you could have gotten involved with?
Well, actually, I grew up in the Caribbean in St. Thomas, and so, organized sports wasn't as accessible there, and I was very, very tall, but I sort of grew up there most of my teenage years, and then my junior year, I played a little bit of volleyball then, but then my junior year, I moved to Florida, and because I was 6'3" already at 15, when I went to the school there, they were like, "Oh, you're going to play basketball and volleyball." So I really got started late, and I had an okay volleyball coach in high school, but not particularly great, but I had an excellent basketball coach. So I ended up leaning towards basketball, and then I went to a blue chip camp for basketball where probably the girls that would go in the Southeast to a Division I on a scholarship were there, and I realized at that point that I probably should pick volleyball. Because even though I was really tall, they said, you'd have to put on about 25 or 30 pounds, and so that is why I chose volleyball to go to college, even though at that time I was probably a little bit better in basketball. And it was just fun. I love both games, but I really enjoyed volleyball, and I used to joke that I liked that there was a net between my opponent and I.
So you accepted an athletic scholarship to Florida State, and I'm sure you was actively recruited by other colleges. What was it about FSU that made you sign on the dotted line there?
Well, I was in St. Petersburg, which is by Tampa, so sort of the middle of the state, and at that time I had gone to school, obviously in Tallahassee, but I'd also lived in New York, and I think I was looking for some place near home, but not really, and ultimately at the end it was probably my coach, Cecile Renaud, she recruited me, and when I went to see her, just her overall attitude and the way she was, I really responded to her. So I think she had a lot to do with it. And the school, being a big sports school, that was appealing. And so I think that's why, to be honest, the kids, young people now have years to sort of think about what they want to do. This was also new to me, and it was such a whirlwind that the idea that I was going to college to play on an athletic scholarship was sort of very new. So I didn't have lots and lots of time to analyze it.
I personally know a lot of star athletes from high school that went off to college to play sports, and it just didn't work out for them. They had the parties, the late nights, and that just don't mix well with athletics and academics. For those out there that, that might be listening, who might be getting ready to take that step, how did you balance everything out, your schoolwork, your athletics, your social life, to become a successful student athlete? I mean, you even started modeling your modeling career then, right?
I did. I was doing all simultaneously. The great thing about when you go to college as a freshman, they put us into all kinds of programs to get us where it was like mandatory study hall, at least for your freshman year, where tutors were available if you needed it. But it was really, I think, it's one of those scenarios where if you're so busy, you actually become organized. And I think that was part of what happened for me. And secondly, the university really helped create an infrastructure that helped you be successful. So what I would say to the athletes going into school is that if whatever programs are made available to them, because there's quite a few, that they take advantage of them, because they are very helpful. Even though they take extra time, the help is there if you need it. So certainly in the big schools, and if you have male athletes that are going to go think about playing professionally or whatever, I think that's great. But just as a backup, I think it's a really good idea to utilize whatever resources that are offered.
I imagine to be such a successful model, I mean, you really have to watch what you do to keep that figure. And being a professional athlete and constantly being active through practice and competition, I'm sure helped tremendously. And I guess my question is, was that enough to keep you on top of both games, or just being active in your sport enough to give you that look everyone was looking for? Or did you even have to work harder?
Well, first of all, not every woman is looking to be like 170 pounds and 6'3". I think women are looking to be, the ideal is presented as pretty slender, I think. for me, it was actually, I think not that, I think one made me appreciate the other. So when it was time to play ball and train and work hard, I did that. And I appreciated the traveling and such as modeling, but I think obviously they both took time and were demanding. So not that they took from each other, but in modeling, it was like, you know, the idea was you weren't supposed to get too muscular and too big. And then in volleyball, in your training, you're trying to get as big and powerful as you can. So within that, I was always trying to calibrate between the two places. So, yeah, I mean, they complemented each other, but in some ways, you know, it's like different universes.
You know, I want to know how it felt the first time you made a magazine cover. Was you calling all your friends? Were they calling you? You know, that has to be such an amazing feeling.
I don't know. I think, you know, I was in New York working, and I remember walking by a newsstand, and I had my first cover on the newsstand, and that's, of course, you're not going to lie, at like 18 or 19, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I always really looked at it as a job, and even more so, I think you're really aware of what goes into it. So you've got people who improve your hair and your makeup, and then at the end, the photographer makes it even better, and they fix it again. So I think there's a part of me that has always been disconnected with that was a little bit of make-believe. So, yeah, you're excited, but I never really thought, oh, you know, that's me, there I am on the cover. It's like the very, very improved you. And so maybe there was a part of me that I didn't get too crazy about it.
Yeah. So fitness and living healthy has pretty much naturally became a lifestyle for you. And I know you like to share your knowledge on what you've learned, but you also invite others to share their expertise as well. And you might know what I'm leading into here. What's the tribe?
The tribe is just something that I thought really, I sort of believe that most females especially, but men even have their own tribes, but it's a little different, where if you can get really great information or help or ideas, or if you go, hey, it's crazy at my house, and someone goes, oh, that's totally normal, it's crazy at my house too, that it makes you feel better. And, you know, as you go through life and you're trying to juggle work and home life and staying in shape and figure out what to eat and food, there's something really great about a collective group of people trying to at least offer up ideas, because everybody does it different. So it isn't about telling people what to do. It's just about going, well, how about this, or try that, or this is what I do. And so I've always gotten through life that way, and I know that is not unique to me. So ultimately I thought it would be nice to create a virtual tribe where we would all sort of throw out ideas and maybe help each other and put something positive to that, because a lot of the times there's a lot of mean stuff online and people are, you know, they don't even give their names. So this way the tribe at least is, you know, the notion is to try to be positive, but also to get information.
Yeah. So you're always posting videos on Facebook, and a few days ago you posted a recipe for green beans, right? And we're from the South, and you might have noticed that from our accent, but you know, where we're from, you know, we put the onions, we put the bacon, maybe even a little bit of bacon grease, you know. But I know that might not be the healthiest way, and I know you talked about adding almonds, and I've never had green beans that way, and I made my wife, you know, she's going to cook up and prepare it that way. Is cooking a passion of yours? I mean, are you the cook of the house? I know your husband's an athlete too.
I am. Well, I have my passion. One of my passions, obviously, I love my husband very much, and one of his passions is food. So, I got inspired to learn how to cook, and for my family, of course. But I do enjoy cooking. There are days where I'm like, oh God, just get it out there. But for the most part, I thoroughly enjoy cooking and look at it as an opportunity to get everyone in the house together. It can be a creative expression, and as I go, I've learned that you can make food taste good and it's good for you. And so I think that part of that challenge has made cooking interesting for me too.
You know, I'm going to throw you for a loop with this question, but I'm going to ask you this question as a parent. And I know I watched another video of you showing how you got your kids to keep their dresser drawers neat. So my daughter's 2 years old, right? And she's the only child. What's the secret to potty training, man? We're having a time with this. As a parent, how do you do this?
Potty training?
Yes.
Well, we all know, no offense to boys, but boys take a little longer than girls normally. So, and I think there's another thing, which is don't compare to your friends, because that's what people do. Like, oh, well, my kid did it at 18. My kid did it. It's like, oh my God, be quiet. Like everyone's going to go to the bathroom normally. I think so. That's the first thing, and then the second is my middle daughter taught me this trick where she learned about threats and bribes, right? So bribing. So every time her friend of hers went to the bathroom on the toilet, she was given an M&M, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually, just for fun, on a little bit, we actually tried that with the youngest one, and it worked really well. But I think for me, kids, and then what I did actually with my youngest girls, when they were pretty ready, in the mornings, I would just have them walk around without like panties on, because they wouldn't just go, right? Yeah. So of course you had a couple accidents, but they would sort of start letting you know. And then, after breakfast or whatever, just slip on, get them all fully dressed. But I found that they're much more sensitive when they're not like wrapped up in panties and this and that, and they let you know. So,
my problem right now is finding surprises, I guess, in secret locations.
Oh, but if you have a son, you must have a son.
No, I have a daughter.
That's
yes.
Daughter?
Yes.
I love that. That's so funny. That's really funny. Well, I think too, we have to remember that a lot of times you hear about certain kids being afraid of the toilet, and the other side of it is going to the bathroom is a very private thing, and even for a young little person. And so sometimes I think if we're on them or we crowd them or we're too near, I think it's like a little too much for them. Yeah. So I think too, there's a level of, encourage them and maybe be around, but also privacy.
Have you put a YouTube video out about potty training? You should.
No, are you kidding? There's no way. No way. It's funny. I mean, parenting, that's like the most personal, hot button topic there is. It's all I can do to talk about moving and eating. I'd have to be a lot older and see how my kids turn out before I'd even really discuss parenting.
All right, I'm gonna bring it back into the interview mode, right? You got a new book circulating around. For those that haven't bought it, but they need to, what can they expect from reading it?
Oh, the title is "My Foot is Too Big for the Glass Slipper," and it's just a fun conversation about marriage and raising children a little bit, and try to take care of ourselves, and just sort of the whole. I think especially for females, this expectation of having it all or doing it all at the same time or doing it perfect, and just kind of really looking at that and going, is that practical and is that fair, and just having some fun with that.
Last question. Same question we ask all our guests. What's something no one knows about Gabrielle Reece? Any hobbies, favorite TV shows? Just something you do on your downtime to relax?
Oh.
Put you on the spot, huh?
No, I know. I think I've revealed so much. I don't think there's that much.
You're so transparent. You're out there. You don't.
But that's what I mean. I don't think I'm that hidden. I think sometimes people think that my husband and I run around like working out all day and like eating kale. But quite frankly, I have a lot of different things on my mind outside of being physical. And but no, I don't think there'd be any. I don't have any secret hobbies or talents.
I don't know. What was it, skateboarding or something like that? You don't do on the side?
Yeah, no.
Ukulele.
I mean, I'm not good at it. That's not really.
Well, where can people go as far as website, social media? You got a YouTube channel out there too.
Well, for a lot of exercise stuff, there's GabbyandLaird.com. There's a lot of free information on exercise. And then certainly my Facebook that you can get to through GabbyReece.com has a lot of fun stuff in it and recipes and things like that. So those are the two sites, and I'm at Gabby Reece on Twitter, and so.
Gabby, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your evening to join us on the show.
Aloha. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
25th Hour Radio Show.